Ready, set, go. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Coffee with KABSC, where we get into all things politics over a cup of coffee. My name is Dafne Zamora, and today I'm joined by Brooke St. George, Tempe City Councilmember-Elect. Brooke is a lifelong Tempe resident, longtime community advocate, and former City Hall staffer, an organizer who has spent years working on issues impacting local families and neighborhoods. Throughout her campaign, she built a strong grassroots movement focused on government transparency, affordable housing, responsible growth, and making sure residents feel connected to the decisions happening at City Hall. After a closely watched race, Brooke was elected to Tempe City Council last week by a margin of more than 2,000 votes, bringing a new generation of leadership and community-driven advocacy into local government. Brooke, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Okay, perfect. We usually like to start in every episode with a fun question of what mug did you bring? So I can start first. I brought this little handmade mug that I made a
Oh,
long time ago back in high school.
it's so
Um,
cute. The
Thank you.
cherries.
Thank you. This was my favorite fruit at the time, which I don't really like cherries anymore, but I was a super fan and it was like my first like handmade thing, which I was kind of proud of. It was like a little Pinterest inspo.
Hold on, like you sculpted the mug and then painted it?
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very nice. I'm
But this was
impressed.
after a little volleyball game and then we went to go make pottery.
That's
So,
awesome. That's awesome. Well, I brought my Hamilton mug. Can you see it?
yes, I can. Oh wait.
Yes, this was my
Thank you.
my souvenir to myself. I don't usually buy merch. I'm as I'm moving out, I'm trying to like get rid of stuff, but I will never
Yeah.
get rid of my Hamilton mug because I'm a musical theater nerd, and this I got for myself when it first came to town in 2017, I think it was, something like that. And yeah, I think, and I brought this specifically because I made a playlist for my campaign, and it was really just for my use, although we played
Oh
it
my
at the election night party, but
God.
it kept me going. And you better be sure that my shot was on there
I
as a
love
like
that.
hype song for myself. Like I am not throwing away this opportunity to serve my city. So that's why I
Right.
brought it.
I love it. You know what? Hamilton is such a staple in everybody's life, so
Oh my
it's such a
God.
given.
It's a gift that we are alive at the same time that that debuted. I mean, it was just, yeah, it's
Yeah,
amazing.
I love that. You've also have described like since you just came back in 2017 from
Hmm.
living here basically your whole life, you described it as your hometown and your heart. What first inspired you to step from community advocacy into running for city council?
Um, you know, when I started working on campaigns, I got asked a lot, like, when are you going to run? And I'm sure you're going to get this too, Daphne. All you guys probably already are getting this because you're all so good and so passionate about politics that you get that, like, when are you going to run? And my answer was always never, because I really enjoy moving the needle behind the scenes, and feeling like at least you're accomplishing something every day. And I would say too, I don't like the, am I allowed to cuss on here? You're all kind of
Maybe a little bit.
okay. I'll alter my phrase, but I don't like the idea of making 50% of the people angry 100% of the time.
Yeah,
Like I'm a people pleaser, and I'm like, oh, I don't like that. Like you're never going to make everybody happy when you're an elected. Um, but after my stint at the city, and even after I left, I mean, people were like, You should run. You should run and you should unseat your former boss." And I was like, no, no, no. I just want to be done. Um, but then about 3 months later, one day in late June, it just became apparent that I really did need to run. That Tempe, I had an insight into some of our current electeds who are now no longer our electeds, or won't be as of
right.
July. That I was like, Tempe deserves better than what we're getting. And I felt like I could do the job. I mean, as a council assistant, you're doing almost everything except for actually casting the vote, right? So um I was like, I know I could do the job and I know I can run a campaign. Like I've done all of that. It was
Right.
just, um, do I want to be the elected? And that was a tough decision for me to make. But once I made it, it felt in my body like it was the right decision. And I never looked back. I mean, it was like I hit the ground running and it just all was like this big wave of momentum. And I was like, okay, I think I'm doing the right thing here. So
Okay, I love that. Yeah, I always knew that you were going to be just great. I'm so glad that we were able to support you through your whole campaign and just seeing you on election night. Like your heart was truly in it all. So it made me happy that we supported you and that you won your election. And it's just a brand new, fresh start for everyone.
thank you. I couldn't have done it without Keep Arizona Blue Student Coalition. You guys are amazing.
Thank you. And then talking a little bit more about your campaign, affordable housing was like a major issue during the election. Do you think Tempe residents, or what do you think Tempe residents are feeling right now? And what are practical changes do you hope to push for?
I mean, Tempe is obviously, and they spoke very clearly with their votes, frustrated with how our current mayor and council is operating. Um, they're not doing the things that Tempe is always known for, which is anytime something controversial comes up, they really like go out to the community and they hold listening sessions and they get that public feedback. And that's always kind of informed how we shape policy in the city. And in recent years, they just kind of skipping over that process. And I don't think they learned their lesson with the parks permit ordinance last year because
Mhm.
they just did it again with the tax, putting a regressive sales tax out for, again, a vote in November. We'll see how that goes. Without any public input. They just kind of sprung that. And so I'm like, I feel like the residents are just tired of that. And
Mhm.
they spoke very clearly about that. But they have been resounding about we need to do something about the unhoused issue in Tempe. And I used to, when I was working for mayor and council, get a little frustrated with that. Like, we can't expect seven people to somehow solve a problem that has been plaguing humanity for millennia. Like, it's not,
Right.
it's not something that any one city can do. However, the what they have been doing has not been working. And they will claim 46% reduction in homelessness, but we have eyes and we can
Right.
see that that is not the case and that it is only getting worse. Now, obviously, housing in general is a national issue and we can get into like BlackRock and all that and investment, but there's a lot, not only a national, but a state issue. We're blocked from doing a lot here in Arizona by our state legislature. But what we can do, and two of the things that I hope to do first, one is address our shelter spaces and how we allow people into those spaces. Right now, it is very prohibitive. It's, you have to have a job or be clean or this, there's this litany of things. And Bobby and I are both like, housing first. This is the model that is proving to work across the nation, across the world. We need to think about the unhoused in a more proactive way instead of a reactive way. And so that is one thing. But in terms of like practical things that we can do at the city, one thing I really want to ensure that we're able to do is allow our churches to build affordable housing on their land. Right now, they are zoned residential, and so they're like limited.
Mhm.
So I hope to create that like an overlay that allows our churches to use their land more wisely because they do have a lot of space and a lot of unused parking lot space and stuff like that. And they have the desire to help that community and the space to do it. And the city is making it difficult for them. So I would like to really dig into that issue. Hopefully, we can establish a homelessness commission. That is like a first order of business so that, and I said this in a recent interview with Bram Resnick, but we all talk about like, oh, all the different, mutual aid in the city and everyone needs to come to the table, but there's no table to come to. And so that homelessness commission is going to be that table that can inform mayor and council so that we can do better than we've been doing.
Okay, awesome. With all these great ideas, I know a big part of your campaign was affordable housing, and you also talked a lot about transparency, which connected to a lot of voters, and they really deepened with you. What does a more transparent city government would actually look like in place?
For me, the number one thing is that we start having public debates on the dais during council meetings. A lot, and I know this because I worked inside, they will kind of craft how they're going to vote in an exec session. And they all decided a long time ago in an exec session that they were going to vote 7-0 and do this united front, like we're all in this together. And I'm like, that's not what voters want.
Right,
Voters want
right,
to know that there are people up there that are thinking deeply about the issues that they're voting on and questioning like why we're doing things. And those discussions need to be publicly held and witnessed. And whether 5 people tune into a council meeting or not, like it's available, it's online, it is transparent. So that I think is like the number one thing. And then in terms of how the city communicates what it's doing, if they've made a decision that's unpopular or whatever, I think the city could be a lot better about communicating the why back to the residents. Like, we know that this isn't great, but here's the A, B, and C of why we made this decision and why we do think it is going to be the best for the city. And I think we need to respect our residents enough to inform them in that way and not just be like, well, this is what we're doing. And, we're the
right.
city council. We make the decision. Like,
Right, at
these
the
are,
end of the day, we're human and we don't want to be kept out of
yeah,
the dark. We just want
right,
some basic information, whether it's like an answer we don't want, but at least it's an answer with
right.
explanations behind it.
Yeah, at least it like respect them enough to tell them why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, perfect. And then also with Keep AZ Blue, what we do is that we help a lot of young people get out to vote and like be politically involved. And as you know, Tempe has a way younger population than most cities because of ASU and the number of renters and young professionals here. What would you advise them to young people who want to get locally involved but don't know where to start?
Get offline and get involved in a campaign. And I have to say, so that's what I did. Look at me now. But it was 2016, 2017, 2018. We were all like, ugh, and I was just on Twitter like raging, like I'm
Right.
just right. And then I finally was like, hey, this is not good for my own mental health. Like, Brooke, put the phone down. I'm in my like rage bubble with all these people. But I took stock of like, clearly this is important to me. My natural inclination is politics. I like, if I have a free moment, I need to know what's going on in the world. I'm very drawn to this. I always have been. How can I get involved? And unfortunately, that was knocking for Kirsten Cinema in 2018. We won't talk about that now. But then that led to in the 2020 cycle, making calls for oh gosh, what was it? Mark Kelly for Kelly and Biden. I started there and then like from there it just kind of tumbled into more local campaigns. And I think, it's sexy to get like, oh, I'm gonna volunteer for the Harris campaign or
Right,
whatever, but
right.
like get local about it. There is somebody running somewhere right around here that needs your help. So that just like literally go to a website of a candidate that you're like, I think I like this person, and contact them and be like, how can I help? And boom, the next thing you know, you'll be running for office.
Boom, right, exactly. I know, I think I believe I started into like all the politics about a year ago and I never realized like how many things are going on like right under our noses. We just
Mhm.
need to have the info in front of us and it's right there. As long as we just get off social media, get off our phone and actually go see what's going on, it's right there in front of our faces and we don't even realize it.
No, and
It's
it'll feel
insane.
so much better to be doing something than to be raging online. It
Right.
just does.
Right. It just feels
It just
more
does.
accomplishing. It's like, oh, I did
Hmm.
that. You see that on social media. I helped out with that
Hmm.
kind of stuff. So I think that is really great advice and thank you for that because I would definitely be using it and all of my other folks will be using that as well. And
Wonderful.
then one of our final questions is When people look back into your first term, which you'll be sworn in very soon, which is July 1st, correct?
Correct.
Correct.
6 p.m., council chambers. Everyone come, wear purple.
What do you hope when they see, what do you hope they'll see or say when you accomplish for Tempe?
I hope that when I look back on my first term, that I, as well as other people, go, she did what she said she was going to do. I made a very conscious decision not to like make big campaign promises during my campaign, not like I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that, because ultimately you are one person in a body. And I've seen firsthand it is hard to get things accomplished in
Mhm.
government in general.
Right.
But so I didn't want to not be able to make promises I wasn't going to be able to fulfill, like, and that I knew I was not going to be able to fulfill. So it was more like I will push for these policies, or I will be more transparent, or these kinds of things. Which, a lot of people are like, you're being really vague. And I'm like, well, you kind of have to be a little bit vague, because if you make promises and then don't keep them, then you get a lot of like, they didn't do what they said they were going to do. I want people to look back and say, she was honest. She was transparent. I didn't always agree with the way she voted, but she explained why she was making that vote. I know I'm gonna tick off people. It's inevitable.
Right.
Um, but I hope that they feel like I did a good enough job, so that if I should choose to run again, that they'll be like, you know what? I'm getting behind her again, because she didn't just what I think most terrified of is like becoming part of the machine. I don't want to become part of the machine. I'm very well aware of the machine that exists there and how to avoid
Yeah.
that. Um, so I think I just don't want anyone to be like, well, she just became another one of them. Like,
Yeah.
I really want to make sure that I fulfill the promises I did make to the voters, which was to get in there and shake things up, because it needs shaking up.
Right. And just being clear with what you said, like you might have to make some people mad, but at least you kept your promise with your actions of transparency and just letting people know why you do things a certain way. And like they might be mad, but they'll understand why.
Right.
So that's all you
Right.
can really ask for. And I think you're going to do fantastic. I think
Thank you.
most of us are, since you were the number one spot. I think you are, a lot of people have faith in you, and we all think you're going to do a great job.
Thank you. Thank you, Daphne. Thank you for all the work that you and Cameron and Jacob and Bradley and Francesca and like everybody, Dia, you guys are all fantastic. And to anybody who's watching this, thank you for being involved in politics. You guys are gonna do amazing things. We old people have faith in you.
Thank you.
You
Well,
make us excited.
thank you, Brooke. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And then do you want to say again, when is your swear-in, just to let people know?
Swearing in Tempe City Council Chambers 31 5th Street, 6 p.m. on July 1st. Wear
All right,
purple.
everyone, be there. And Brooke, thank you so much again for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity.